I I need to apologize for leaving so abruptly, okay? But I'll tell you, wow, standing at the foot of that cross, seeing my Jesus, standing with his mother, it was overwhelming to me, okay? And I'll tell you, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I'm supposed to take care of her, right? This is my responsibility now, to take care of his mother. What do? She does not want to leave, you know? This is her son, and she's not leaving until his body is properly buried, okay? We have a custom. You take your loved one's body and you bathe it, you wash it, you clean it, you wrap it in the linen, you put the spices, you wrap it. This is our custom. This is what you do, and she's not leaving with his body hanging on that cross. But I'll tell you, it's getting late. It's Friday. Remember what happens when the sun sets on Friday? Sabbath starts. We have to be home by the time the sun sets. And it's getting late, and I'm there with her, and we are sitting at this point together, just in silence. And that's when I saw those two men come with a Roman guard. You remember I told you about Nicodemus and Arimathea, Joseph of Arimathea? Not man enough to stand up for him in his time of need? Oh, but now they come, now that the crowd is gone, right? My heart was not good. As they came closer, I am gotta be careful my grip on Mary's shoulder, okay? But as they got close, I could see their faces. They came right, not to me. They came right in front of Mary. And they looked at her. And they said, "Can you ever forgive us? We are so sorry. We know who your son is. And we weren't worthy to even be in his presence." And I've got some words I'd like to share with them, you know. But do you know what Mary said to them in that moment? She said, if you would have been here, she said, you would have heard my son just moments ago already forgive you. And if he can forgive you, I don't hold it against you either. Well, if his mother can forgive them, who am I, you know? And then they said, listen, we went to Pilate and we got permission to take his body down. Well, that's when she lost it. And I kind of lost it too because I didn't have the power to do this. And they said, if you would allow us to take his body down. And this is, I noticed that Nicodemus had been carrying, it was like 75 pounds of our spices and ointment. And Joseph had the linen. They said, if you would be willing, we would like to bury him. But Mary says, but I don't have a tomb for him. And Joseph said, I do. I have my own. Just, it's very close to here. It would be my honor if you would allow me to lay him in my tomb, to make it his own. And Mary, of course she said yes. Thank you so much. And so that Roman guard, who also believed in Jesus, do you know it was through watching the way that he died that he declared, surely this one is the Son of God. So he came with them and they put that ladder up against the one side of the cross and they had the tool and they pulled out the one spike from this arm and he went limp. And then the other, and these three men helped take his body down and they laid him on the linen. And I'm telling you, the women who were with us, They were going nuts because these men, we don't do this. The women are the ones that do this right. They take such care, you know? But we didn't have time, okay? We had to do it quickly. And so I'm still with her, but I can feel her just wanting to do, go. But she knew they had to. And so they're doing it so quickly. I could hear these ladies talking though. They're making plans of their own. I don't know what they're thinking, but they wrapped him as quickly as possible. The sun is getting lower in the sky. And so the three of us, one on each head, I'm in the middle, okay? And we carried his body to the tomb. And then we laid him there. And I came back out and I stood by Mary. Isn't there something final? You would lower someone typically, right? For us, there's something so final when that stone is rolled and you're seeing it, seeing in, and then it's closed. And when it into place, I don't know, something in my heart. Mary, I think she would have stayed there all night. But I said to her, we've got to go, Mary. She said, I know. Can we just stay a little bit longer? You don't say no to this. And finally she said, okay, we can go. So we went back to the house and listen, everybody is back now. And then the sun set. But we aren't talking. People are weeping. But do you know what the women are doing? They are cooking up the spices and the ointment. They are going crazy, actually. This was before the sun. They had maybe about 45 minutes before the sun set. And they're in that house whipping it up as fast as they could. I don't know what they're thinking. They can't move that stone. He's already buried. But listen, people deal with grief different ways, right? You let them do this. And sometimes it's work is good, it distracts your mind and it doesn't hit you as hard. And so they're working like this and others are, setting the table for some food or something. Others are getting wood for the fire for the rest of the day tomorrow. But then when the sun set, we couldn't do anything. That's not good timing, And so that day was agonizing. And that night, when people are trying not to let you hear that they're crying, right? It was horrible. I couldn't sleep, but I know I fell asleep because I woke up the next morning, And I woke up to those women, those silly women. They're up early and people that wake up early when you're maybe in a cabin at camp or in a tent or something. And they're trying to be quiet, tiptoeing around, but things are falling and dropping. And you're like, oh my goodness, I'm awake. I'm not going back to sleep now. You know what I mean? We heard them get up and get these things and they went out of the house. And I thought, I'm just getting up, So I got up and I went outside. I was going to start the fire, but when I got out there, Peter was already there. And so we just sat by the fire for a while. Isn't it good about fire? You know what I mean? You can just sit around the fire, focus on, you don't have to say a word, And as we were sitting there, maybe about less than an hour later, we see Mary Magdalene. This lady, we joke with her all the time. We call her crazy because, remember how when she came to Jesus cast out the demons? Sometimes we joke with her, is there still one in there? You're a little crazy. But she's not just walking, she's running. She's running. I never seen this lady run before. She's running, and you know what name she's calling? She's saying, Peter! Peter! And I'm like, he's right here. Hey, I'm here too. You know what I mean? But she comes and she says, he's alive. He said, what are you talking about? He's alive. And now she's talking a million miles a minute. We went to the tomb and we were going to roll away with the tomb. When we got there, it was already rolled away. And then there was an angel there and they said that he was alive and he's not here. And he said, stop. Slow down, sister. Say it again. Take a breath. She said, he's not there. The stone was rolled away. The body is gone. And you know what? Peter didn't have to hear another thing. He got up and he started running. And I was like, wait for me, you know? So I take off after him, and I gotta tell you, guess who got there first? Hey, Johnny boy, right? I'm a little quicker, you know? I got there first, and I stopped, and I looked in. But Peter, when he got there, he just goes straight in. I'm like, me too, you know? So we went in, and when I saw it, it was just like she said. The body was gone, but the linen was perfectly undisturbed, even with the headcloth folded in place. What is this? What is going on? But as soon as I saw it, listen, in my heart, I believed he's alive. I didn't know where, but I sure wanted to see him, you know what I mean? But Mary had said to us, listen, it's just like the angel said, and it was. So Peter left. I don't know where he went. But I went back to the house because Mary's there, right? I'm not going anywhere without her. When I got back there, I'm trying to tell them, no, it's true. Where's Mary Magdalene? Didn't she tell you? Well, apparently after we took off, she hightailed it back too. I don't know how I missed her on the way. But I'm in there talking to the mother and trying to feel people, like it was conversation now was a little bit feisty, right? I don't know, is it true? I'm like, I saw it with my own eyes. And as we're talking, Mary comes back into the house. And this time, her face is lit up. And she says, I saw him. No, you did not. Where did you see him? She said, I went back to the garden. I just sat by the tomb. I said, I was just there. You mean if I had waited a little longer? She said, as I was there, the gardener comes over. I said, wait, you saw the gardener or you saw Jesus? She said, I saw Jesus. Okay, so you saw Jesus come to you. No, the gardener came to me first. And I said, where have you laid my Jesus, the one that I love? Just tell me, you know what I mean? And he said, Mary. I said, how did the gardener know your name? She said, it wasn't the gardener. I said, you said it was the gardener. She said, just listen to me, Okay, She said, I thought it was the gardener. But as soon as he said my name, I knew it was Jesus. You know what I did? I said, what did you do? She said, I grabbed onto his feet. I'm not letting him go. No way, baby. And you know what? He said to me, you gotta let me go, Mary. I haven't yet gone to see my father yet. He stopped to see you first. What about me? You know what I mean? She said, no, he has a message for you. He said to tell you that he was going to his God and your God, to his Father and your Father. And I'm remembering the things that he had said while he was here. I'm the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Just thinking about all of these things. Is he coming back? She said, I hope so, I said, oh man, and while we're talking about these things, listen to me. Peter comes back. And he's got a similar look on his face. And I'm like, oh, seriously? Oh, He said, I saw him. He's alive. I said, where did you see him? He said, well, as soon as I knew that he was alive, and he told us what had happened. I didn't know what had happened. Read the book. I mean, Jesus had said he's going to deny him 3 times. Peter had, but the 3rd time, I guess I didn't even notice. He had locked eyes with Jesus right as the rooster had crowed. He said, John, it was too much for me. And when I heard that he was alive, how do you face him? how do I face him? So where did you go? He said, I went back to the last place that I was with him in the garden. And I prayed. And he said, John, as I was praying, he said my name. He said, what did he say? And he goes, maybe another time. You know what I mean? Okay, fine. You had your moment. I want my moment, And so we're still together, and the women now are, they're making some dinner like this, and two more, Cleopas, another disciple, Cleopas and the other one, they come back, and they got the same look on their face. I'm like, seriously, I'm the beloved disciple. When's my turn? But they come back, and they say they're going to Emmaus, they're going home, and on the way, Jesus appears to them on the road. Read it, it's incredible. Tells them all of these things we had never seen in Scripture. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they start describing all of these stories that I have known since a child. And what Jesus did was to open up their eyes and help them understand that he was pictured in all of them. Listen, when they got to the part with the Passover, I was stunned. You remember I told you about Passover, right? What did they have to take? A 1-year-old what? Male lamb, perfect, spotless. They said, it's a picture of Jesus. I said, what do you mean? They said, remember John the Baptist when he saw him? He said, behold the what? I said, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. Stop it immediately. He said, no. You remember? They were supposed to put the blood on the what? I said, the blood on the door. He said, yeah. Do you remember what Jesus had said to us? I am the door. By me, if anyone enters in, he will be saved. I said, are you kidding me? You're blowing my mind right now. It's all a picture of Jesus? All of it. They start going through all of these stories. Abraham and Isaac going up on the mountain. The father sacrificing his only son. How do we miss this, guys? I don't know. But as they're talking to us and they're telling us these things, my heart is pounding like crazy. And that's when he came. He was just there. He didn't even come through the door. And it was locked, mind you, because we were worried that they were going to come for us, you know what I mean? He's just standing there, but he looked different, but we knew it was him, and people were like freaking out a little bit. We're nervous, and he goes, no, peace be with you. And people still are like, I don't know, is it really? He goes, give me some fish, give me something to eat, let me prove to you, you know what I mean? And we stand there as he eats, and he's smiling, and as his cloak comes up, we can see. He's here. Because he's alive. And you know what he said to us? He said, as the Father has sent me, I'm sending you. I want you to carry this message that people's sins have been paid for and forgiveness is on the table. I've made a way. I am the door. They can enter in if they just believe in me. I'm the way. And as quickly as he came, he was gone. Now listen, we saw him a few more times. Actually, 8 days later, Thomas wasn't with us the first time when Jesus came. And do you think he believed that he showed up? He would not. He's like, no way, I won't believe it until I see it. Do you know how good is my Jesus that even though this guy doubted, he comes back 8 days later just for this one. He's so kind. And he stood there, and Thomas is wide-eyed like this, and he said, come, put your hands where those nails were. Come see where the spear pierced my side. And Thomas, He didn't even have to. He just said, my Lord and my God. And Jesus said, do you believe because you've seen? Listen to this. Blessed are those who have not seen and still believe. Guys, that's you. That's you. You never seen him. You never hugged him. You never kissed his cheek. You never laid back on his chest. You've never seen him. But do you believe in him? You're blessed because of it. And listen to me. If you put your faith in him, if you trust in him, 100% money back guarantee. I guarantee you will see him one day. And you will get to feel that embrace. I guarantee it. Listen to me. Live for that day. But don't just live for it for yourself. Because his heart beats as much for you as it does for the people around you. He wants them there with him on that day as much as he wants you there. You remember him praying on the cross? Even the ones that irritate you, even the ones that agitate you, huh? He wants those ones with him. He wants to be able to say to them, get over here, and wrap them in his arms. But they need to know that they can be forgiven, that they need forgiveness, and that it's on the table. The only way is through him. Will you share Jesus? Don't just keep him to yourself. Will you share him? It's why I came. Listen, I spent my life living for him. And sometimes, listen, sometimes living for Jesus can be harder than dying for him. Do you know that every single one of those guys, those disciples, my best friends, every single one of them was put to death for Jesus, beginning with my brother. And I was never more proud of him because he would not deny Jesus. When they tried to shut him up and say, you can't speak about him, he said, you cannot make me stop. This is my whole purpose in life is him. I've got to keep telling. And that is a good way to lose your life, right? And can I tell you? It wasn't that they didn't try to kill me. Oh man, they threw me in some oil, tried to boil this one to death. Then there were times I wish that it would work because it was painful. But you know, sometimes the loneliness, they couldn't shut me up either, but they tried to, at least people couldn't hear my message if they exiled me onto the island, right? But in that place, do you know that was the place where God let me see and revealed to me Jesus in a way I'd never seen him before. He gave me a vision. I wrote it down. It's called Revelation. You know that book? I remember I heard a voice behind me and I knew the voice. You know? And my heart's pounding like crazy. It'd been so long. And when I turned around to see him, this was not Jesus like I had seen him before. This was Jesus in all of his glory, and I fell to my face. But can I tell you what? You remember how we were waiting for him to become king? To take the throne? Oh, he did. And it's a greater throne than any earthly throne. It's the one that's beyond all. You sang about it. That's where he is. And he's got his eyes on you. Always got his eyes on you. And he's preparing the place to bring you home. It could be today. Huh? Maybe no school on Monday. Maybe no more work. Hey? maybe we see Jesus together today. You want that? You want it? Who else do you want to be there? Let's spread the news, right? Guys, thanks for listening to my story. I hope you share it, okay? I love you. We'll see you again.